I want to just take a moment to appreciate the hairdresser, because looks like there's some fantastic conditioner being used, and I'm all for it. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and you're good to go. We are back with something brand new to the channel. It is a Patreon request from Jonathan. He's a huge prog metal fan, and he's been waiting a long time for me to do this one. It's a band called Tesseract and a song called Juno. They are an English progressive metal band, so they're from my side of the world. Specifically, they are from Milton Keynes, and they formed in 2003. Now, I'm kind of new to the prog metal world, but everything I've heard so far has been pretty golden, so can't wait to hear this one. I've seen a bunch of requests for Tesseract as well, so I know we're going to make a few people happy with this one, hopefully. Yeah, Tesseract Juno from Sonder. Let's see what you got. Okay. Okay, I'm assuming that Phil's going to take us into another part of the song. I'm going to go back. I loved how epic and dramatic this is. It's these long chord ring outs. I love the placements of the snare. The snare placement is key here. It's in between those notes being pulled, and it feels like it adds an extra emphasis to the melody. Really simple. There was a delay in the start of some of those bars. I think there was kind of every second cycle there's a delay in bringing it in, so they were almost chasing that beat, as wavy and free flowing as it feels. Really, really dramatic, nice start. There's also this kind of dissonant synth that I can hear in the back behind the guitars. Super, super eerie, and just kind of adds atmosphere to that, so that's very cool. Oh, you talk about a groove. That's kind of, this is what makes me think of prog metal. Now, I'm no expert, and I don't know how to kind of classify a lot of prog metal bands, but there is this kind of like clangy syncopation, this offbeatness to what they're doing. And in this alone, I'll go back so you can hear it again. Just this piece they started playing, it's so cool. They've got this kind of chug, which is like a ghost note, and that's where you have your fingers on the strings in the place of where the notes are that you're going to play, but you don't actually press down on the frets, so you get that chug of the plectrum going up and down on the strings. And the emphasis of that noise is as important in the melody as the notes themselves. So there's this interaction between the two that creates this almost like funky groove to it. And then you got the drums just riding, just this backbone riding it, really, really smooth. I like this a lot. Nice synth in the back as well. Okay, so interesting. It sounds like it's keeping that same kind of funky groove to it. The drums are sticking really tight. When his vocals came in, the guitar kind of sounded like it was being removed, and it sounded more like it was a bass primary sound. It could be the guitars with a different effects on, but there's a lot of kind of fiddling along with that. And ironically, his vocals are gliding on top, and his vocals are actually, from a tempo and urgency point of view, feeling a lot like the beginning piece that we heard. And that could be because that beginning piece is going to be playing a more significant part of the song, but it's nice to see him keep on that while the music is doing something else. I like this a lot. These guys have got some hair, eh? Nice falsetto there. You know what? Yeah, I was right about that. So that beginning piece we heard is actually the chorus melody. So it's pretty much exactly what he was singing over there. That's how they started the song. That's quite common. You see that quite often where they introduce with the chorus melody and musical, if you will, instrumental, and then when the vocals come on top, it's almost like an added flavor. It's an added spice to it. So that's very, very cool. Loved that chorus. Super epic. Really nice to hear that piece being played again. And then his vocals on top, he's got traditionally sounds like a higher kind of register to his voice. He's not singing very low, and I like that because it complements the higher frequencies and clang of some of the stuff that they're doing, even though their distortion does have what seems like quite a lower end drive to it. It's not being too fiddly, so that's really awesome. Good voice, really good voice. He's got nice tail offs, nice little quick runs that he does at the end. He's going up into like falsetto sometimes in his head voice, and there's some nice layering in certain parts. So there's like a lot of, because of how epic it is, it feels like there's a lot of thought behind how to structure his vocals in that piece. God, that was a nice kind of offbeat throw there. I didn't expect that. I thought they were going to go straight back into that kind of standard groove with the drums. I don't know what that was. As it started, I was like, sounds like 3/4, but I didn't latch onto that one properly. It was really interesting though, really nice. It was nice and different, a nice change to kind of what you had heard so far. Definitely in line with the prog elements, and I'm actually really loving this. This is a great song. This is a really good song for me to start out with these guys, and I know by the looks of it, when I did a search, they've got quite a few really popular songs, so it's nice to know we get to go somewhere from here, and I'm sure you'll recommend some in the comments. Yeah, again, very musically thoughtful. What stands out, obviously, is the drum sound is really well produced, so you can hear that placement of the snare again. And, outside of his vocals, you can hear a lot of the lead work that's been done over this piece. So I'm hesitant to say second verse because it feels slightly different, but you can definitely hear some of the lead notes that are well spaced apart, and those are the accents, and those are the pieces that are cutting through. But behind that, you've got that constant chug, that constant rhythm. It's almost like the two are fighting against each other, but they're coexisting quite well. And you can definitely hear that lower end there of probably the bass and one of the other guitars doing that chug. So I'm not really sure how many guys are in the band. I've seen quite a few, and what I can tell you is I want to just take a moment to appreciate the hairdresser, because looks like there's some fantastic conditioner being used, and I'm all for it. It's beautiful. There, that was really, really smart. When I talk about that chug, that kind of rhythmic piece being played underneath, when he went into that tom fall, everything aligned and you could hear them all kind of working in the same direction. That was very cool. Hang on. That's really pretty. One thing I do want to say is it sounds like it was a purposeful thing, but they've kind of, the volume of his vocals isn't as loud as some other groups that you hear. It's very audible. It's not like it was like an error or it's hard to hear. You can definitely hear it, but it sounds like there was a purposeful decision to make his vocals blend more with the music than sit on top. And I actually don't have a problem with that. I kind of like it. It feels like it was wrapped up really nicely. Like a gift from them to us. Wow. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. I like the placements of that different kind of signature and that syncopation to it and the throw of the offbeat. I like the placement of it because it felt like when they went into the first chorus, coming out of that, it did feel like it was really well placed. It kind of changed the mood, even though there was different intensities and tempos in terms of what was happening with the verse and with the chorus. You can get stuck in that samey alternating vibe, and the placement of the first like offbeat piece was really good, and then to have it there at the end was just kind of nice nod and reminder to it. Powerful song, really powerful song. Interesting. They sound, I don't know a lot of bands that sound like them. I'm trying to kind of think like influence wise. I can't really place anything specific, which is rare in this day and age where so many bands are replicating and copying each other's styles. For them to have something that feels quite ownable, I think is a huge compliment. Yeah, that was really good. I did think it would be good, but I didn't think it would be that good. I'm very, very impressed with that. That is a powerful song. And ironically, 5 minutes long, it's not terribly long, but it's definitely a longer song. Didn't feel like 5 minutes. Felt short. And I think sometimes that's the key to a beautiful song, is when you can get lost in it. Even while you're doing a reaction and trying to analyze certain pieces, you can get lost in the song and kind of takes you out of how long it is and where it is in the song, and you're just focusing on what you're hearing, which is really nice. So Tesseract, get big thumbs up from me, and whichever one you want me to react to next, please put that in the comments. As I mentioned, you can hit me up in the comments on these reactions. You can hit me up on Twitter, which is just my name. You can find me pretty easily. That's the best way to do it, if I'm honest. Or Patreon, if you're there. If that's something you do, you can let me know there, and I'll get it in the list. a big note to everyone to say, I see all your requests, I've added them in. It is an enormous chore trying to juggle and give everyone a taste of the music that they love and want to celebrate on the channel, while also trying to keep it fresh and making sure that we don't just do too much of the same thing. I've set out with a goal in the beginning to make sure we explore new music together, and that has to be kind of one of the priorities. So I promise I'm working through them all. I see you guys, and I appreciate all your input. Until the next one, please be safe, be nice to each other, and have a damn good day.